Cov have signed Kayne Kesler-Hayden from Aston Villa, who we've seen in the Championship. Where have we seen him? Preston and Plymouth? Am I right? Has he been on loan anywhere else? Probably has, I can't remember. Villa, very, very good in terms of developing players, loaning them out, selling them. I suppose Jaden Philogene has been a big example there. Morgan Rogers, although they ended up signing him back, didn't they? Have I got that right? Where did he go? Did he go on loan to... Yeah, he did go on loan from Villa to Borough and then back again, didn't he? I think I've got that all right. No, he signed permanently, wasn't he? It's a bit of a weird deal, that. And then Philogene came back as well. So, big part of Villa's trading there. Sorry, I'm confusing myself about that. What I'm not confused about is the 2 and 2 together. Kayne Kesler-Hayden is a right back. Coventry have a saleable asset in the right back position in Milan Van Evik. Does this mean that he is going to be sold? There's a whole right back kind of housing chain, isn't there, involving Fulham. We were talking about Kenny Tete, and Ben Johnson of Ipswich has been in the discussion. Van Evik has as well. I think kind of West Ham are involved as well, and we're expecting there to be some kind of movement, and maybe one goes out in the Championship. Coventry have been sensible here to try to mitigate against, being succumbing to that chain and having to wait for other stuff. They just got involved and got their right back in. I don't know. Does that guarantee Van Evik goes out? You tell me. Bristol City, very interesting signing, this one. Emil Riis, free transfer, Preston to Bristol City. I mean, the first thing that's interesting is that this has happened in the way it has happened, that we have a player who Preston put money into and the contract's been run down and he's going to leave on free, and either Preston didn't... I don't know. If you're a Preston fan, you'll be able to tell me in the chat. Were deals offered? Did he turn them down? Did they not offer him a deal? And you have a similar-ish move. I know Bristol City were a lot higher in the table, but let's be fair, it's two non-parachute teams and a player going on a free from one to the other, which is always kind of fascinating how that happens, particularly in terms of the club that owned the registration allowing it to happen. And just quickly on Preston, we've spoken about them building stars and that they've struggled to do that really since Hugill and Callum Robinson, bringing players through and selling them for big money. And this is a bit disappointing that there were times where we thought this could be one, bringing a striker in from Scandinavia, building him up, getting goals, being able to maybe sell him on. Hasn't happened. And Bristol City fans are going to hope, right, can this be a really shrewd bit of business? Taking someone who knows the division, who's maybe got a point to prove having gone out of Preston. Can you get goals out of him? Can Gerhard Struber look after him? So that's a particularly fascinating one. Millwall, we do have a big deal, and I'm very interested in your takes on this one, because it's Josh Coburn, where Transfermarkt are reporting 6.4 million euros on Coburn. Don't know, what is that, 5 million quid? That's just a guess. Someone do the exchange rate for me there. Coburn, 22 years old. So on the one hand, you would say, go on Millwall. I think it's club record as well. They're pushing the boat out there. You're investing a lot of money in a young striker. And also, remember, Ivanovic in there as well. Have they built themselves a very, very saleable, bankable front two there? Can you ride out the season with two young strikers like that? I think you can. And look, Coburn's been around for the longest time. So on the one hand, I love the ambition of it, and that's pretty cool. On the other hand, maybe some Millwall fans might say, oh, could we develop these players ourselves? And, we're paying Middlesbrough big money to develop the player. But then again, I don't know how long the contract is. You know how these fees are meted out, and I'm sure there's a big bonus if they get promoted to the Premier League, and it's divided over the term of his contract. So, You know, it's very easy for 5 million quid to become a million and a bit every season over the length of the contract, isn't it? That's how it would work in terms of the amortisation. I don't know in terms of the payment plan, but I can see both sides of it. But fair play Millwall, and talk to me about that strike partnership there. What happens? They keep those two youngsters on the pitch all season. In the words of the great Larry David, that could be pretty good. Ethan Galbraith has indeed come in from Leyton Orient, and I mean, on the one hand, it's a shame, you know, when a team punches and does so well, Orient getting all the way to the playoff final, but you know that team that got them there last season is going to be dismantled. Galbraith has played plenty of football there and goes in for Swansea. And remember, you've still got to say Matt Grimes left Swansea in January, and you're looking for a long-term replacement there in the central midfield. If you're dropping €2.5 million on a 27-year-old, is he Serbian or Bosnian? I've got two flags. I think he's Serbian. Vladan Kovacevic, pronunciation, whatever, from Sporting Club de Portugal, then you've got your first choice keeper. It's so funny with goalkeepers, isn't it? Where kind of all you want is to bring in the most boring signing in the world who's just going to stand there and make no mistakes. It's simple, isn't it? Well, I say it's simple. It's literally the most complex position on the pitch that fans just don't understand. But simplistically, what you want from Mr. Kovacevic, I'll pronounce it differently every time now just to cover my bases. All you want, save the easy shots. If someone sticks one in the top corner, fine. Don't make any dumb mistakes. And to be fair to Liam Manning, he's not one asking his keeper to do Cruyff turns and keep you up. He's inside his 6-yard box, is he? So you would hope that, you know, Norwich can make the signing of an experienced goalkeeper there that's played plenty of games out on the continent, and he's just steady Eddie in goal. I love this one. Kwame Poku, hey? There's always a player who tears it up in League One who the majority of Championship teams would go, okay, is he worth a go? You know, can he do what he's doing in League One in the Championship? If he does, then go figure, he'll fit in at pretty much any Championship club. Can you get goals and assists? An exciting, direct winger, and certainly a golden boy there that would have been on everyone's radar. And he's gone to QPR. It says free transfer here, there. What are you doing, Peterborough? Peterborough go in my bracket of teams like Norwich and Middlesbrough that get great transfer fees. They're the League One example. But no, nothing for Poku. And I expect QPR have got the best end of that deal. And look, there's something there at QPR where you have mercurial players like Stan Bowles and Roy Wegerle and Adel Taarabt, and we've had a few over the years. We're about to talk about one of them who's just signed for Birmingham as well from a few years ago. Ilias Chair. There's something about that club and mercurial, dribbly, exciting players, isn't there? They've had a great history of them. Can Poku be the latest? I like it. The exciting one, Divin, Mubama, and these players, it's a striker from Manchester City. Stoke get them, don't they? They had Liam Delap, they had Tom Cannon. They do get good loan players. Unfortunately, those players seem to then go and sign elsewhere and, you know, do bits for someone else. But Mubama would have been on the radar of a lot of teams in the Championship and the parachute teams. You just want the dream loan signing, don't you? You want your Tammy Abraham, who you're going to loan in and he's going to score tons and tons of goals for you. And Mubama ticks the box of being at an elite club, doesn't he? And maybe there's a bit of a sense, it's going to sound very derogatory to Stoke, so I'm going to apologise in advance, but do you go to Ipswich and play 15 games, or do you go to Stoke and play all of the games and maybe score loads of goals? That's going to be the hope. I can't sit still, can I? I'm a fidgeter. I've got that type of personality. So I like that. Yeah. Mubama, can he beat... The only problem is, if he scored 12 goals by Christmas, you know what everyone's going to say? Oh, City will now redirect him to Leicester or something. This is the one, though, isn't it, that I think is the biggest statement out of all of them. And it is Tommy Doyle, isn't it? Who is your... And I spoke to Brian and Alex on the Keep Right On podcast about this type of signing, and Amari Hutchinson, basically, at Ipswich, where you can't sign Amari Hutchinson or Tommy Doyle if you're in the Championship, because you'll bust PSR. You cannot do that deal. What you can do is loan them and have some stuff written in the contract that if you get promoted, that you can then have them. And this is one the parachute teams would have liked to have done. He's been at Man City. Sheffield United fans loved him, didn't they? And they had two, didn't they? McAtee and Doyle. And he went all the way to the Cup semi-final with Sheffield United. I think he's played a bit for Manchester City as well. Well, 51 Premier League appearances. He went to Wolves. I mean, it only says 5 million euros here, but I'm guessing that was on the back end of a loan. And I think this is where people do need to be sensible. And I think Birmingham fans, you need to be sensible, because I think they're going to say, oh, Ben, we haven't even started spending yet. Yes, you have. Tommy Doyle is not going to have been cheap. Whatever the loan signing fee, the salary is, the tie-ins, there'll be a payment if they don't get promoted, and there'll probably be a payment, an obligation to buy if Birmingham do get promoted. But man, that's a great signing. That is a great signing. And I suppose the fantasy there for Birmingham is they do have the lightning in a bottle perfect double season. They do the double promotion, and then I assume there's something written in there that they'll be able to get Tommy Doyle permanently. And it's a sensible deal, isn't it? You can't sign a player from Wolves whose market value here is 10 million if you're not in receipt of parachute payments and you haven't got that income coming in for your PSR. But my God, fair play Birmingham. They are absolutely going for it. Thomas Kaminiski, that's a good signing for Charlton, isn't it? How about that? I mean, we always have these conversations about keepers, and I've got to admit, they do lack credibility a little bit, because it's quite funny from my point of view. I'm not having a pop at football fans. I'm not calling you all buffoons, but you ask fans of a division who's the best keeper in the league, and literally 75-80% of fans in the team think that the keeper that plays for their team is the best keeper in the league. It's just one of those positions where it's so hard to judge. But we've had these conversations before about Championship keepers, and Tommy Kaminiski has been up there in the chat, hasn't he? He's a good keeper, and he's been around and about the place, and I think it's a great signing, actually. Thank you for watching this clip from our latest transfer update video. The full show will be going up. It might already have been uploaded, in which case you can watch it up here. It might not have been uploaded yet, in which case we'll stick another video up there. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe.